Hello and welcome to a new video on our channel JLZ. Today I'm going to show you my Pan Xeno profile. This was my deck of choice for the regional in Amsterdam, which is now a month, or which was now a month ago. I was kind of hesitant if I should show you this deck profile. I went 4-2 in total, got 20th place, unfortunately lost the first round. And then the 5th round, I lost the 1st and 5th round due to me being stupid. So this was kind of annoying, but this makes me believing, or this makes me believe, this is making me believe, I don't know. I believe that this deck has a very high potential if you're a well enough pilot. And I think that most people are playing it wrong. So today I'm going to show you my version of Pan Xeno, and I will tell you why I choose to play her the way I do. First off, lead ability, pretty simple and therefore pretty generic and therefore also pretty good, and it will be a deck that will definitely be around for a long time. When you use a black card in a combo, draw one and you can self-awaken if you want. Awaken, burst 3, draw 2. And then on the back side, same auto, when you combo with black card, you can draw 1 and then you can place 1 black battle card from your warp into drop, and she has an activate main. You choose up to one of your black Z battle cards, switch to active mode, and place 2 black battle cards from your warp into your drop. This is cool. The up to is the best thing about this, because even if you don't have any Z battle card in play, you can just like put 2 cards back from warp to drop for a potential overwhelm play or sparking 5 or free negate Bardock or whatever. Now I'm going to show you my deck. I don't play her aggressive at all. I play her very, very, very defensive and controlish, and I think this is the correct way to do. Why do I think so? Because the most important part in the Z deck does cost 2 Z energy, which is this Sun Gohan right here. So this Sun Gohan basically is crazy. He has deflect, double strike, barrier, and when he attacks, for every Z energy cost on your side of the field, either being it leader area, battle area, or unison area, he gets a 5k push for the battle. If you just have him alone in play, he is a 25k, together with the Leader's Awakened side, dual double swing for 2 and 2, which also warps something on your opponent's side with energy cost higher than your opponent has. So basically you want to play him as often as possible, because deflect, double strike, barrier is also good. He's also barrier removal, so he's your go-to play. And since your leader does not untap 1, draw 1 when she awakens, but she draws 2, it's kind of risky to go the aggressive route because you have just 2 energy. So best thing you can do, playing him turn 2, then awaken, then do an overwhelm, and that's it. This is not really a good potential aggressiveness for me, especially if he gets petrified, time magic, whatever. So I like to play the deck slow. Playing it simple. So this deck just has 2 cards to 3 cards which are leader bound. I will cover them later. So basically for 1-drops you can choose whatever you like. I decided to play Sun Gohan because he's a silver bullet against blue as well. He has also barrier, so he barely gets removed in the early turns. And then I have Toa Twisted Sister because I like to do shenanigans. If I draw her in my opponent's turn, and in my first turn I didn't see any first 1-drops, and then when I come with something from my hand or when my opponent attacks me, I see her, I still have the potential to play her to do something with my energy. Also, I can disturb my opponent's playline a little bit, especially the new Vegeta, when I'm shuffling something back from his drop in his deck, which makes it more difficult for him to play stuff. I just like her. You can also basically think about playing Shin, so you don't have problem with early boss monsters dropping 7 or 8 drops and attacking you. I will definitely try Shin out. Then we have the archetype stuff. This Trunks is basically a board removal. You can either play him with Overwhelm, or you can play him as an activate main, burst 2, draw 1, so he basically resets himself. And then depending on the amount of Z energy cost of Z cards in your battle area and unison area, you can warp 1 card costing 6 or less. So if you have the Gohan on board and you play him, you can warp 2 battle cards from your opponent's side, 6 cost or less. So he's a great answer against decks that go wide basically. Also, you don't need to swing with him. You can just basically play him or overwhelm him, then combo him in, and then your leader draws one, so he is not really a minus. He is even a plus when you play him with this effect and then you combo him in. You can also swing with him, whatever you like. Then we have the Son Goku. He is one of the best negates you could ever imagine for black. So he is a burst 2, which is great because you're filling up your drop for potential Bardock 3 negate or Sparking 5 negate, or maybe you hit a Gohan rare, which you can later on use. You negate the attack and play this card. You also draw one. Your leader gets a 5k push. So this is all like crazy. You negate, 5k push, burst 2, draw 1. But you can only play him if you have 2 or more Z energy cost in your battle area or unison area. So basically you need the Migra unison out, or you need a Gohan out, or the Goku Z battle card, or the extra and something else, and then you can play him. He is also a Son Goku Xeno, which is great for Potara. He is also a 25k single, and you can also combo him in when your opponent swings at you, and then he's a +1 even, because he resets himself, and then when you combo him, you activate leader ability and draw 1. So as you see, this card alone makes the deck very defensive, but he also leaves the option open for being a high swing, or for being a Vegito Potara. Being 25k is also great, because Koitsukai doesn't punish you, so this card overall is pretty great. Then we have Combo Attack. I feel like Combo Attack is the new Beyond All Limits. So Beyond All Limits was banned, and let me tell you, it doesn't matter in my opinion. He was great for consistency. However, one of our teammates, Tommy, still plays as for Vegito Xeno. He won 2 locals now in a row. He does not have any consistency problems. He does his play line every time. Same goes for this deck. I haven't used Beyond All Limits in the first place, and I'm not missing it. And for every other black deck, it's like, well, you get your consistency pieces. I don't feel like banning Beyond All Limit was a huge thing in my opinion. I think people are crying louder than they should. I think the real problem against black right now is the counterplay and not Beyond All Limits, but well. So this is the, in my opinion, best overwhelm in the game right now. He draws 1, and the best part is he draws another one with your leader. Because when this card attacks, you combo from your warp, and then your leader triggers. Since you combo the black card, you draw 1. So he is basically your free draw engine in your turn. He also is a 25k swing. When he gets negated, you still Z-charge. So he's the best overwhelm target you can get. Then we have the counterplay. I've talked about it. It's too good to not play it. Especially since Burst 2 is also good. Draw 1 card, add 1 card from your hand to your Z energy is good for setting up your next Gohan Z battle card. He does so much. He also beans, so in combination with the Goku, this is like a 10k push for your leader defensively. And you know, these cards alone make me believe that this deck should be played control-ish defensively. And then you have the Gohan to hurt your opponent every turn again. It's not a hyper aggro deck. It's not Goku Xeno. It's not Vegito. It's something totally different. And I don't think people get this. Then we have my 2 flex cards. I played them at the regional. I'm not sure if I will continue playing them. They are great in principle because he is like bean something for the turn, then warp something, and then reset 2 cards, which is also cool from your warp to your drop. So this helps you in setting up potential new overwhelms together with your leader ability. This is 5 in total. It's cool. Like I said, you can bean something with it. It just rarely comes up because everything else in your deck also needs energy to be played. You have enough removal, it's okay-ish. This one felt better because in some games it's a game of floodgates. So you want to see a floodgate, then your opponent will see a floodgate. Then you need to answer with a floodgate because you just do 2 to 3 swings anyway. And you need to make sure that your defenses are there. And he is good for that because if you see him, you can warp something, ignore a barrier, 30k double strike. And then your opponent has a lot of stuff to sacrifice if he wants to finish you. So he is okay, but maybe you can side them out. Then we have Cumber. Even though we have Son Gohan in our Z deck and he's a great barrier removal, sometimes you just want to invest 1 energy to get rid of something ignoring barrier. Especially in like certain matchups where you go second, you don't want to invest your full 2 energy for that turn. I mean, if you're going second, you can't play him anyway. But if you're going first or whatever, if you have 3 energy, you don't always want to invest like 3 energy or 2 energy when you have 3 energy and that's it. Sometimes you just want to play him for 1. He's also double strike potential in turn 4. I still believe that playing him is correct in black decks, even though Gohan exists, just because he's just 1 energy. And that's it. Then we have super combo of choice. You go down to 5, pretty easy. Going down to 4 is not that hard, to be honest. So he is great. Just great filter. You don't need to pay attention to your Z energy. You could also play Cumber, but I think he is way more easy to set up. Then we have secret rare of choice. I mean, yeah, we don't need to talk about it. And now we go into the defensive package. So this here is my offensive package. I mean, you could even count him and him as a defensive package, but now we go into the real defensive packages. 4 copies of Bardock the Tenacious. Why 4? Because Beyond All Limit does not exist anymore. So we burst sometimes with our counterplay, with our counterattack, and maybe with something else, I'm not sure. I think these are the only bursts I have in the deck. And there's nothing better than slapping down this boy turn 3 or turn 4, and your opponent just have 1 swing and then follow up with a cooler, for example, or a finishing turn. So I always want to play him at 4. He feels so great in this deck. It's like your opponent has just 3 or 4 swings, and let me tell you, in this deck you survive 3 to 4 swings so easily because you have the combo potential, you have the cool negates. It's crazy. 2 copies of Gohan Rare. I'm always playing 2 copies of Gohan Rare in every black deck I'm touching because I want to see that. If I'm playing against red or yellow and they come at me with their SS4 secrets, I don't want to eat that quadruple, even though my hand is out of negates. I always want to have a battle card negate in my drop or warp. He's also cool because you can't counter him, so there are certain decks that still have counter these days. Fuck them. If they counter your negate, you can still activate this one, if we're talking about battle card swing, and then you're still good to go. Then 3 copies of Bardock. I think he's awesome for this deck in particular, because you're easy at 5 again. Like I said, your leader resets something with comboing or with like the activate main effect. So you put something back, then you have like 2 burst targets, and then bam, you're suddenly at 5 cards and drop. In this deck, he's an easy to set up negate because life is 4 or less. And you can combo in him later on to make +1 again in your hand. So basically he's a ±0 if your opponent does not remove him before swinging again at you. So he's really great in this deck. I tried him at 4, but I had the feeling 4 is too much. So I think 3 is good for now. Then 2 copies of Crack and Spacetime. Mirko, so Margin Vega, recommended me playing 2 copies, simply for the reason to play mind games with your opponent. So usually when you burst, there will be a time when you burst Crack and Spacetime. And this is the moment when your opponent feels pretty safe, because usually you just expect your opponent to play 1 Crack and Spacetime. Well, I play another one, because just for funsies. Also, if I'm going for the finishing swing, I can basically activate both of them, right? If I'm full at energy. So for 2 energy, I get a 30k push on my leader, which is great. I think this card alone won me 3 matches in the regionals because opponents just forget that this card exists. Or they maybe forget that Pan is a Saiyan, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a great card. It's a great card. Then 2 Protector of the People. This is especially relevant against Vegeta, the new one. Because when your Vegeta opponent knows how to play, he can pressure quite a lot in his turn 2, turn 3. So in his Awakening turn. They will have the 1-drop Trunks in play, which can swing 10k at you. Leader swing 15k at you. SS4 Gogeta, Z-Battle card, swing at you. Overrealm, swing at you. So these alone are like 4 swings that can easily put you down to 4 lives. And the turn afterwards, he just continues doing this because you will have problems clearing up his board. This card helps a lot to slow down early aggressive decks. You will oftentimes side this out because not every deck goes wide. They often go deep. And yeah, for big swing, it's not really useful. 2 copies of Power Burst. I don't think I need to say more about Power Burst. It's a Sparking 5 negate. You get a 1-drop back to hand, which you can later on combo. Then your leader triggers, you draw another one. So it's basically a guaranteed get out of prison card by just taking 1 life. Also good if your opponent tries to leave you at 5 life and is constantly attacking your battle cards, then you can go down to 4, awaken, and do crazy stuff. Or go down to 4 and then activate your super combo. This is what I meant. 2, Support of the Dark Empire. I think this is standard for most black decks. Some blacks play 3. I like to play 2 because I think 2 is enough with all the other defense I have in this deck. And then 2 copies of Petrification. Z deck, pretty simple. Like I told you, there's Son Gohan. There's also always an option to play Son Goku, especially early, just for 1 and 2 instead of 2 and 2, for this nice 15k dual swing and warp something ignoring barrier. There's Chilai if you need a unison out early because you know your opponent will push a lot. So you will play her and then have him in hand. Even if you don't have him in hand, your opponent will be so scared that the first swing goes to your unison, which will let you room to breathe, and which is very, 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 very good and useful. Also, she can filter a little bit your deck, so if you're trying to set up Overwhelm or something, or if you're looking for your secret, this effect is just awesome. Then 2 copies of Demigra. I think this is what you will play in turn 2. So my plan is always in turn 2 to play Demigra, then do the first Overwhelm, maybe do a second Overwhelm or just reset stuff, and then leave 1 energy open. So I have a 2-cost Z card on the field, so I can free negate with my Goku, and then the first swing goes to Demigra, I negate it, and usually this is the moment where they try to play stuff, and then I just respond with the counter play, and then they are fucked. Also great turn 2 play is the Z Extra. Oh god, what did I push? Ah! Oh, now we are at TCG somewhere. Let me quickly go back. Here we are. Yeah, this is Z Extra. I don't need to talk about this. The second effect is something opponents often forget that it's free, because every other Z Extra costs 1. This is free. Warping a 5 cost or less is huge. Yeah, and also this effect is quite neat. Then my Z deck for Amsterdam. I kinda expected more Zamasus and Brolys to show up, and this is just a great response to their Garlic Juniors or their Zamasus. Especially against Zamasu, this is great, like slapping him, warping something from your opponent's hand, clearing all the Zamasus they are. But since Red Vegeta is a thing, I don't know if I need him anymore in my side. Then 2 Dabura against green, 2 Koitsukai against potential Cooler Mill and everything else that plays in your turn. This is against myself. This is against Pan. First off, this card is free if you have a Black Unison in play. Second off, you can warp a card 15k or less ignoring barrier. Since Son Gohan just gets the push when he's swinging, the counter window is first, so you can warp his Son Gohan before he swings, therefore negating like possibly 2 big huge swings, and it's free. Also, it's a 15k push. It's okay. You could even think about siding that in instead of Protector of the People if you expect a matchup where people go wide to kind of remove their early stuff. This is against green. I'm always playing for Petrification against green because Father-Son Solidarity is an asshole card. And if I sacrifice 2 cards from my hand, I at least don't want to take a double strike swing, or even worse, let my opponent KO something. So Petrification it is. Super Kamehameha for the yellow matchups where they play Bardock, where they play Vegito, where they play whatever. Usually you don't need to side in Super Kamehameha. It's just useful in your finishing turn if you don't want to drag out the game longer. Then this one is potentially for something like Ogeta Aegis, or for cards that can't be removed or are very, very annoying to deal with. Or for green, I think 1 copy is enough. And this is the 3rd copy, especially for the Vegeta matchup. All in all, I do highly believe that this deck is one of the best black decks at the moment. I'm also a huge fan of Fu, and these are the 2 decks I'm playing at the moment. They do play very differently. While Pan feels controlish aggressive, Fu just feels like I'm slapping down all the 8-drop coolers I have, and let's see who runs out of cards in hand first. Yeah, but I like her a lot. If you like the deck profile, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to get more deck profiles from us. In the future, I will try to get my other teammates on board as well, so they can show their pet decks. I think we have planned something like Turtle School, the Trunks Arrival deck, Darian with his Invoker. We have from Mirko a Red Android 18 and 17 deck coming up. So there is a lot to unpack. And yeah, that being said, I wish you all a wonderful rest of the weekend or a wonderful start in the week whenever you watch it. And yeah, see ya. Bye bye.